Well, hello, hello. Welcome to another Fox 411, where we like to talk about and interview people that have things going on in the community. And there is something happening at the Surf Ballroom coming up this Saturday. And I asked Dr. Michael Spooner here to join us. This is a cardiology battle of the bands that's happening this weekend. And welcome, Doctor. Appreciate. I know you got a busy schedule, so I'm glad you were able to talk with us for a little bit.
Yeah, thanks Harry for having me, and super excited to talk about our event. It's been kind of a couple years in the making, so happy to kind of talk about it a little bit. I think sort of I don't know if it's a surprise to some, but a lot of our cardiologists have quite a bit of a musical background.
Hmm.
We've had a couple of cardiologists who've come up here over the years. This is which kind of piqued our interest in doing this, but Dr. Brian Olshansky used to come up here for a few years, and and so there was rumor that he was in this rock band back in the '70s, and so that kind of piqued our interest. And then recently, Mike Giudici also had done a lot of work down at the University of Iowa, came up here. He's been doing some great work for us, and we come to find out he also was lead in a rock band called Lansing Legionnaires back from the '70s. We also determined that both of these guys actually went to Carleton College up near the Twin Cities. They were about a year apart from each other,
Okay.
and actually started these bands while they were there. Um, and For Dr. Olshansky's band, they actually had gotten together once before, I guess last year, and we've been talking about this for a number of years, or for a couple of years, about doing something because but Dr. Giudici, this is the first time they just got back together. They
Okay.
got a guy from Switzerland who flew in. They got guys, kind of
Wow.
have scattered throughout. Their band, I guess, called Lance and the Legionnaires, they actually did a little recording even back in the '70s. So we're going to be excited to hear what they have to what's going to come this weekend.
Sure. Sure. Before we get into too many details about the event this Saturday, why don't you tell, because this is a charity event and people need to know that. Explain, what are you raising money for?
Yeah, no, absolutely. Great question, Harry. So people don't know it, but we actually in Mason City are one of only three sites in the state that train cardiologists. We actually train more cardiologists here in Mason City than they do in Des Moines.
Wow.
And we're only one of 271 sites around the country that train cardiologists, but we also train internal med docs, family medicine docs, and so there's a lot of things that go into that training, and some of which you need money for to support. And some of that's for publishing, some of it's for traveling to big meetings, and for getting a training equipment with simulation gear. And so we have started a fund for that, but we're trying to really jumpstart that fund because that's really going to help our trainees get better training and attract really the best people here in Mason City, which is what we want. And so this event, as you said, is a charity event. We aren't charging for admission. There is a barcode you can scan. You can actually you can contribute before you attend. And then when we get there, we're going to be asking, for contributions. We're trying to get about 40,000 on this event if we could. That's kind of our set goal.
Right.
We have some silent auction items as well. So that's kind of the whole background.
You you don't get any help at all. I mean, you got to put this together on your own. All these programs, all this education.
We do. So Mercy, we're affiliated with Mercy One, which is, of course, the local hospital here, and
Right.
they do support the programs like some of the big educational things, but a lot of the extra things
Oh yeah,
that we
sure.
want to do, it's getting harder and harder to justify those extra things that or what make a program really, and what attract the best people.
Like any company, really. It's like, well, we pay for this, but we don't pay for that. So that's the whole idea, is to bring all this, together. I get it. I get it.
Absolutely, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So at the surf, and you were talking about, the people coming. I mean, have they even been to the historic surf ballroom before?
Yeah, so I mean, so certainly, you know, anyone who's been involved with music I think knows the surf. I think our certainly our musicians are very excited about performing at the surf.
Yeah.
A lot of the people around here at the hospital who've been around a lot of years certainly know the surf. Those of us around, you're right. There are a few people who didn't know the history. It's kind of interesting to explain that to them, especially as you're inviting them to the event. But I think that adds to the nostalgia, the fun of all this, and I think that's it, Harry. We're trying to, as I say, we get into our daily jobs so much. I'm really hoping that above all, people just come out and have a really good time and kind of relive some old memories, among
So
other things.
the auction part of things. Talk about the auction part, and then we'll get into the battle of the bands here.
Sure. So we're going to do a silent auction. I think we got, I'm trying to think some of the things that we have. I think there's like some football tickets on there. There's some local businesses have contributed some different items that we're trying to kind of theme.
Mm-hmm.
So there'll be a few things, that people might be interested in doing, and we're going to try to do that kind of in the middle of the event. We, again, have the two bands, so we'll try to, and I think actually trying to get a couple of patients who are going to get up on stage and speak. That'll be kind of a little bit of a surprise, but they
Okay.
have some testimonials that actually are quite interesting. We're going to try to feature them a little bit during the transition as
Okay.
well.
Will this be a sit down event then, or standing up and getting on the dance floor and dancing the night away?
You got it, Harry. So, people are welcome to sit, but we're going to be trying very hard to get them off those seats because we want them out there dancing. Matter of fact, I think Dr. Jadici was even calling a couple of dance crew or young, like young people who do dance studios, inviting them because, it's that good 50s and 60s genre and that
Okay.
opportunity to swing dance or do some things like that. We want to give them that opportunity, but we want this to be exciting. We want people to be out on the floor.
Oh, it's classic everything then. That's
Hmm.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's good. So you go from 6 to 11. So how are you kind of expanding the night here?
Yeah, good question. So six, we're opening the doors.
Okay.
That'll give people a chance to get in. We're going to have serve some drinks at the bar. We're going to have I guess, some popcorn. People get to talk. We're going to have the silent auction events out, and then the idea is to start the music about 7. Will be the first crew will play the first set. That'll be Dr. Judici, and that's Lance and the Legionnaires. They'll play probably a couple out. We're anticipating a couple hours, so right around turnover there around probably 8:30 or 9. And
Mhm.
then our second crew, the Thunderbirds, Terry and the Thunderbirds, they'll be coming in after that. That's Dr. Giushi's band, and they'll be closing out till as long as people want to play. He says he's got about 4 hours of music. I said, well, I think that might be a little bit of a stretch. So,
Yeah,
but we want to keep it active, exciting. People out again dancing, and we'll play. I think they're going to play as long as people want to keep dancing.
exactly. Now, the leaders are cardiologists, right? Is the whole band cardiologists?
No, that's it, Harry. So the two leads. So shockingly, a couple of the leads are the cardiologists, but we
Okay.
have I think one of the guys is an investment banker. We have a guy from Switzerland. We got a guy from out in Detroit, a guy in Chicago. So these are people that are all have since they left Carleton College have touched every part of our economy, so to speak.
Right, right. And will we be able to actually meet maybe some of the cardiologists right there, or are they all on call that night?
Well, luckily I got the night off call, so
Okay.
you can certainly talk to me. I'll
All right.
be out there trying to do some MCing and keep things moving along.
But other
Um,
doctors, I'm talking about other mercy doctors helping out with the car.
yeah, no, we'll have even our fellows, our other docs are going to be helping us, and we're going to make sure that they're not on call so they can enjoy themselves. As I said, Harry, we want people to get out there and have a good time.
Well, yeah, but I mean, like the public coming out, you want the public out there to see all this stuff, and I think this is a good time. You should have name tags for the doctors, okay? So people can
Yeah,
go up and shake hands and give hugs. If hey, you saved my life, thank you. You
Yep,
know.
we'll do that. We
All
can
right.
certainly. I know a couple of us. We can certainly do that. You bet.
Yeah. Well, this sounds like a night of fun, and to get you all all in one place will be wonderful. Of course, yes, Mercy still will have people there to help on whatever emergencies you might have. But what a great idea! Hopefully, this is something that you guys can continue then year after year, or every
Yeah.
other year, or something like that.
Yeah, I completely agree. I mean, we've said if this catches on, it's been a lot of fun to plan it, to put it together. Now just try to execute it. And I'll tell you, if it goes like, I hope it does. Again, I could foresee trying to do it again. But it is, I think, we it's just nice to we all to get out of the office, get out of the and go out and celebrate a little bit because
Yep.
we have an amazing community up here as those of us who live here and those of us who moved here feel that way, and I think it's worth celebrating, and this is just one opportunity to do that.
Well, we have an amazing hospital up here too, and we're lucky to have all of you guys here. I'm curious on the 40,000 that you hope to raise. Is there any reference to that number?
You mean during the event?
Well, yeah, I mean you're hoping to raise 40,000. Does 40,000 pick up a lot of the stuff you're looking for, or that you
Yeah,
pay for?
right. So,
Okay.
right, that'll get us. I believe that'll get us pretty far ahead where we want to be. That's probably a couple years worth of training and publication stuff that we're looking for, and that gets us ahead, kind of where we want to be. So and the fund's been around a few years, but it's been kind of no one's. I don't think we've done as much work on it as we'd like to really get that fund up so we can really get again attract the people we want to attract to this area and give them these great opportunities.
You bet. Now, people either watching this or listening to it like a podcast, do you guys have an event like on social media that people can find more information if they want?
Yeah, so I mean, we've done some posting, I think, on LinkedIn, and Monique Pinera is our coordinator. She's posted some things, so I know and I think maybe on Facebook they posted a few things, but
Okay.
and then we put out some posters. We've been trying to get the word out as much as we can, and I know there's there's a lot of word of mouth that's going on too, but yeah, we're trying again get that word out there.
You hope to have 1,000 people, maybe?
Yeah, I'm hoping.
Yeah.
I think that's an optimistic number. I'd like to
Yep.
see in that range. I
Sure.
think. Yep.
I think 700 or 800 fills the dance floor, if I remember right. Yeah. Been there
Yeah.
many, many times. But, well, this is a lot of fun. And I know the surf is a busy place, too. So I'm glad you guys had a Saturday night that you could have this event. And it's been well in the planning, it sounds like, here for a while. So
Yep.
June 28th, be at the Surf Ballroom for the Cardiology Battle of the Bands. And basically 50s, 60s, maybe some 70s in there too, mixed in
Yep.
there. Okay.
Yep. I even heard Terry in the Thunderbirds. They may sneak in a '90s tune in there too, but I think
Okay.
mostly you're going to be looking at '50s to maybe some early '70s, but you're going to get mostly '50s, '60s. So.
I forgot to ask you the obvious question. Is this a fun little battle where it's actually a contest?
Well, we're kind of I think the performers they I know are competitive people.
Okay.
I am trying to kind of conceal a little bit of that, but we may actually get a little bit of audience participation and see what we think of what the feeling is on the two bands.
Okay. All right. And who knows? Maybe as this thing might grow, you can add more bands.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah. Get 3 or 4 up there, all play for an hour and be done, and then it's like, okay, vote for your favorite.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Then you're going to have to get trophies,
Get hearts on a stand.
Yeah, hearts on a stand. Exactly. All right. Well, Doctor, thank you so much. Anything more you'd like to add about, I guess, Mercy, what you do, the cardiology program that we have? We learned something today. We didn't know a lot of your education actually comes right from this local hospital. That's awesome.
Yeah, I mean, I think don't a lot of people in the community don't know that, Harry. And again, maybe that's part of what we're the message of this event too is that people don't realize that here in Mason City we're training world class cardiologists that are going to go out in the world, that go all over the world.
Yep.
They leave and it's a great community, and I think a lot of times people come here from New York City or Chicago and they don't know. They get a little culture shock maybe when they get here, but when they leave, they're they really some very deep relationships that are built,
Yep.
and I think that it's really good for our community to know that that we're doing this here in Mason City, and
Yep.
so yeah.
And well, speaking of everything we're learning about today, how many cardiologists are there here in Mason City?
In Mason City, well, counting our fellows, that would be, I believe, 16 cardiologists that we have.
Okay. Well,
So, and not nine of those trainees. So, yeah.
wow. Fantastic.
Mhm.
Well, I hope you have a great crowd. People bring I don't know, what can they use? You said you can Venmo or you'll be having QR codes and stuff. Do you want
Yeah.
cash? Do you want credit cards? What do you want here?
Yeah, we're mainly going to be doing credit cards. There's a
Okay.
QR code. Just click in there, and then we'll be tracking that number as the night goes on. I mean, I guess if you want to, there might be a way to do checks, but we're hoping mainly to do credit cards.
Yeah. That's the way of the world now. I
Yeah,
Venmo everything. So
yeah, yeah.
anymore, it seems. So, all right, doctor. Well, I hope you have a great turnout and raising some good money for some good education for keeping up the trend of Mason City being the home of some great cardiology education in
Yeah.
general. So that's great. How long have you been doing this? How long have you been a cardiologist?
So I've been a cardiologist now for 11 years. I've been here. As I said, I retired from the military, moved up. Our family moved here in 2020. So
Okay.
I've been up in this at Mercy since then, and
Yeah.
then leading the fellowship now for the past 3 years. So
Oh,
it's the longer I do it, the more I love it. It's an opportunity to influence the future, and it's a lot of extra work, but it's
yeah.
again those relationships and seeing the development of new people, and really keeps you on your toes too as you try to train the next generation of folks behind you.
Well, you mentioned it earlier. Life is all about relationships anyway.
Yep.
And I don't know how you do it, but I don't have that many cardiologists that ever get to talk to me on, for the radio here. So how do you do what you do, man? I mean, because you've seen a lot of things. I've always said I've seen a lot, but I haven't seen everything.
Yeah.
And I would think that you would probably do the same thing or say the same thing about that. But
Completely agree. Yeah, I'd say I've seen a lot. Like you say, the longer you're in the field, the more you've seen. But
yeah,
you're right. You certainly haven't seen everything, and it's almost. I would venture to say, maybe a week, maybe a month goes by. There's always something new.
right.
You're always finding something that you didn't see or before.
Well, and your relationship starts before maybe surgery, and then it keeps going after the fact, and that's where the relationship I think kind of continues on, obviously, because people need to see you for checkups and things like that.
Absolutely, yeah. You're right, and I think Dr. Judici, Dr. Olshansky would say the same, and partly why they're excited too, and why they want to bring a couple patients up on stage,
Right.
is because those relationships that you build are for a lifetime. There's when times are tough, and sometimes that's when we're brought in. People they have a health issue and we're brought in to help, and that
Yeah.
really cements relationships too, and we and it's and it's a lot of those memories are very vivid to us too, and those
Right.
again those are and I think it's worth celebrating those relationships. This will give us that chance too.
As a cardiologist, just one more question. If you could just tell the public out there, what's the number one thing we can do for our heart?
Yeah, my personal view on that is stay active.
Stay active.
Keep your heart moving.
Yeah.
The more, of course, diet, we talk a lot about diet these days and what people are eating, and that certainly has a huge effect over your lifespan. So, do all those things you should do, and don't eat the things you shouldn't as much as you can. But
Right.
I think what I see, especially
Moderation, right? Moderation
moderation,
on
yep.
everything. Yep.
But that activity, when you see when people stop being active, is when I think things start really accelerating, uh, to the negative. So I think if you can stay, I think good for your mental health too, right?
Sure it is. Sure.
Yeah.
That's why I just soon keep on talking, beat on the radio. Why retire, right?
That's right.
Why
Right.
retire for something that you love doing? That's right.
Absolutely.
All right, doctor. I'll let you get back to work, back at it. Cardiology Battle of the Bands coming up here at the Surf Ballroom this June 28th. It's from 6 p.m. was when the doors open until 11. You'll have to remind all the doctors of the bands or people that have never been to the surf to make sure they got plenty of room on their phone to take pictures.
Absolutely.
All right, doctor. Thank you so much.
Right.
Appreciate it.
Thanks, Harry. Again, appreciate your interview and opportunity to promote the event. Thanks again.
You got it.
All right.